Hi, I'm Zack, and for my Christianity project, I chose to answer the fact question: how has pop culture portrayed Mormonism in the Mormon community? And I'm going to show you my process and how I answered all the questions. So, first, I kind of figured out what I was interested in and how I could relate that to like other interests that I have. So, I recently saw the show The Book of Mormon at the Fox. So I wanted to try to see if I can incorporate that into my project any way I could. So I came up with this question. So I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to be using the example from the Book of Mormon show very often. So I have concluded that pop culture has portrayed the Mormonism and Mormon community through comedy. And there's a couple examples of Mormonism being in comedy shows, but I think one big example is the adult series South Park, and that they make fun of Mormons, and also in the Book of Mormon, which is actually the same writer of South Park, and they're pretty much making fun of them. And I wrote that it's subtly, although they're not trashing them completely. So it's very subtle. What does pop culture think about Mormonism and the Mormon community? So this is one of my sub questions. So I have two answers for that. One is pretty much the songs of the Book of Mormon. They pretty much explain what people think about them. So I picked a couple of songs, and the first one's "Hello," which is the opening number. And Mormons are often have the perception of like going door to door, speaking, trying to convert people, speaking with people, trying to convince them. The second one is called Hasadiga Ibowai, and just want to clarify, they go to Africa, so this is kind of like an African song. Um, so Mormons have a strong faith in Jesus, and they strongly believe that everyone should believe the same. So some people think of this as kind of arrogance, but I mean, I think it's just really strong faith. So a third song is called "Turn It Off." It's pretty much about how the Mormons are against homosexuality. And I read into this a little bit more, but the church actually disciplines the homosexual Mormons, and they're not allowed to attend services, and they're not allowed to be Mormons. So you kind of have to like fake it, kind of. Um, the fourth song, sorry, is called "The All American Prophet," and this is all about Joseph Smith. So pretty much everyone, I would say, knows who Joseph Smith is, and like if you were to ask someone, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Mormons, most likely they would say Joseph Smith. Um, the fifth song is called "I Believe," and it's basically showing the perception of Mormons that many people think they believe this crazy thing. Just crazy things, I don't know. They make sense to Mormons. Some people don't understand it, but I mean, it's all personal, I think. And the final number is called "Tomorrow's a Latter Day." And Mormons really believe in the concept of a latter day, which is basically, in my opinion, that's heaven, kind of. They kind of have this whole like planet theory. I don't know exactly how it works, but I would probably research that after I make this video. Um, yeah, so they're really big about the concept of the latter day. Oh, and by the way, latter day basically means better day, and like the final days, kind of. Okay. Also, politics have really badly responded to Mormonism. In the 2012 election, Mormon candidate Mitt Romney ran for president. There was so much prejudice for Mitt Romney. People were just trashing him left and right. I saw a couple SNL episodes. They were just trashing him. And I found it actually a really cool response to that. That basically explains more of that on Pew Research Center, which is kind of a cool website. Okay, so my second sub question is, how have Mormons responded to their perception? Which, I mean, I try to get both sides of this. So the first side is how is pop culture, and then how have Mormon responded to their perception from pop culture. So it's kind of interesting. For the most part, they're pretty insulted. I found a nice response from this website right here and from a Mormon, which actually that was one of my my plan to do. I wanted to get a response from the Mormon. It was on my QHWAQ chart. I think those are the right letters. Yeah, so I actually found a good response, and it's actually very strong, and it has a couple examples. For example, the Book of Mormon, HBO's Big Love series, a couple other examples. But I think that this is their response to the Book of Mormon, which is kind of strange. So, what they've done, the Mormon Church, is they've taken out an full-page ads in the Book of Mormon playbill, which I thought that was really strange. But then I read an article from the Seattle Times. I just kind of took an excerpt out of that article and put it right here. But another thing that I found in that article is that the Mormons have kind of had this strategy of if you can't beat them, join them. So basically what they're trying to do is not for the purpose of just saying you guys shouldn't make fun of us, but for the purpose of saying this is a satire. This is exaggerating a lot of things. And if you really want to know about Mormonism, read the Book of Mormon, because this is not all completely true, although some of it is relatively true and based on truth. My final sub-fact question is, what has the Mormon Church community, or the community and church, either way, done about their perception? So, what actions have they taken in response? So basically, they have released this major ad campaign with the tagline, "I'm a Mormon," which is very soft, sweet, and to the point, I think. And I saw there was a couple, I read a little bit about this ad campaign, and basically what the Mormon Church did is they got a bunch of studies done and a bunch of research done, and they surveyed a bunch of people, and they asked them for what words come to mind when they think about Mormons. So, and what bad things, what good things, mainly what bad things, and trying to show a different side, trying to show the other side of the argument. And one main thing was anti-gay. So I think basically, which, I mean, I wouldn't use that strong of a word, but for the most part, they pretty much are anti-gay. But I think it's more of a anti-gay within the church than anti-gay within the world. But that's just my opinion. But I think one of the big things, they're trying to show that they're humans. They're people. They're real people. I'm a Mormon. They're people. So that's, I think, the big thing. So next, I'm going to show you my QHWLAQ chart. Let's see. Okay. Just going to find it somewhere. So study. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just going to kind of show you one bit at a time. So what do I know? Jesus is a central figure in Christianity. Christianity broke off of Judaism. There are many sects of Christianity. Jesus' mom is Virgin Mary. Jesus is the Son of God. What do I want to know? How has pop culture acted toward Mormonism in the Mormon community? What does pop culture think about Mormonism in the Mormon community? How has Mormons responded to their perception? And what has the Mormon church or community done about their perception? How will I find this out? I want to find some specific examples from pop culture and interpret how I think they have perceived Mormonism, mainly the Book of Mormon. Also, a little bit of South Park, but I don't really, I've never watched South Park. All I know is that it's like an adult comedy series. I want to find a response from a Mormon. I showed you my response from a Mormon. I went to do some research on the internet and find some articles on this topic. I found numerous articles and read numerous articles on this topic. What have I learned? There are several references to Mormonism in pop culture, especially on TV shows such as South Park, Psych, and Burn Notice. Mormons are trying to improve their perception in a positive way, and Mormons have released an ad campaign. Action. What action will I take? I'll make a PowerPoint. So I made a PowerPoint, and let me try to get the question. Okay. What new questions do I have? Why haven't Mormons changed their views on homosexuality? I think I would consider this similar to like Jews nowadays and keeping kosher. So it says that in the Bible, but times have changed since the Bible has been written. So I think that's similar. And do Mormons idolize Joseph Smith as a godlike figure? Like, I know that he's a prophet, but I don't know, do they like worship him kind of, or do they just like praise him? I'm not sure, and those are some things I want to find out. So this has been Zack Cohen with my Mormon project. Thank you so much, and bye.